apologies. We are into our third session. This is international transactions, things that you should know. We are in a third session. The webinar is led by Ms. Sudha Bhushan, an internationally reclaimed author, speaker, and an expert in this domain. She is a qualified chartered accountant, cost accountant, insolvency resolution professional, and a valuer. And for the last two sessions, we've been very critically analyzing, speaking on various aspects that on international taxation and also on FEMA that we should be knowing. We've spoken on permanent establishments. We've spoken on the change of the change in residential status of individuals, the change in the status of companies in this because of this COVID-19 pandemic situation that's ensuing everybody and everywhere. So we'll just wait for Ms. Bhushan to just join in. And once again, I repeat, sincere apologies for the inconvenience.
It is interesting to have, quite interesting.
It's partially my fault because I was so engrossed into the last discussion that I completely forgot that we were running out of time once again. So my sincere apologies. Thank you so much for everybody joining.
I am reading FEMA, so that is maybe reason I am more finding it interesting. But that is a good question by Pooja, because ECB rules are made by SEBI.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is controlled by RBI, and there is
right.
overlap.
And what she said earlier was that since debt instruments are all controlled by RBI and others by central government, but she didn't mention about SEBI, which controls most of the financial instruments. So, you know, like this, there are various other instruments apart from ECBs, which I don't want to mention here, like mezzanine funding and all those hybrid instruments. They're all controlled by SEBI. So I just want to understand that what she wanted to say, or maybe we have not understood. So
correct. So I mean, this is all fascinating for me. So we'll
last 3 seminars I was attending by KPMG and Deloitte on FDI and FEMA. They talked in general a lot on the cases, the theories, the regulations, but the finer points, what she's discussing over here, it's not covered in any of these seminars or in any of the, you know, books also. So it's very interesting and very finer points are getting covered.
Hi everyone. I'm very sorry.
Ma'am, actually, we should be sorry. So, sorry.
Yeah.
We may
so we were talking about ECB. Now I tell you, I think I was talking with Pooja. So Pooja, what I was telling, if there is a clear-cut bifurcation in under FEMA, is FDI and ECB. So ECB is not regulated by SEBI. SEBI does not come into picture till the time we are dealing with investors or till the time it is a public money. So we all know that broadly SEBI always comes into picture when we have investor. So SEBI comes into picture under FEMA. So it is under FEMA there are 3 regulatory authorities. There are 2 regulatory authorities only, RBI and central government. However, SEBI comes into picture if it is relating to SEBI. SEBI से related क्या होगा? Listed companies. If a non-resident is investing into listed company in a secondary market, in that case, SEBI comes into picture. That means that you have to take registration with FTI regulations, and that where it comes into picture. So it has nothing to do with ECB per se. ECB, if your debt is listed, now if this relief measure A company will not be construed as listed if the debt is listed. So that changes the whole scenario. But however, let's not discuss the update. But if your debt is listed, that's a different scenario.
Okay.
But ECB is purely regulated by the RBI only.
Ma'am, usually in India, 90% of the cases, people after raising money from India, only listed companies, they go abroad and they do overseas listings, right? So I believe that in 90% of the cases, ECBs are listed.
Okay. But how is that ECB? That is not an ECB, right?
No,
That is
what
not...
I'm saying is ECB is external commercial borrowings. I agree to the logic what you are giving, that it applies to only listed companies. But majorly 90% of the ECBs are raised by listed companies only. If you
No,
look
but
at the practical scenario, that ECBs are raised, they are not raised by unlisted companies, because companies first raise money from the Indian capital markets. When that source is exhausted, only then they go overseas and they go for ECBs. So usually we see that trend that ECBs are mainly done by listed companies.
okay, maybe I would, I mean, okay, see, ECB done by a listed company or it is done by unlisted company. If you ask my experience, I have seen ECB done mostly by wherein people are taking money from their parent company. That is a direct borrower, recognized borrower. If you have to take, a listed company has to take money from outside India, I think mostly it will have to issue some debt instruments. Now, again, ECB and SEBI, they don't have to connect together. SEBI does not particularly has anything to do with the with the borrowing until borrowing per se. So Reserve Bank, the role of SEBI and Reserve Bank of India are totally different in any particular transaction.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just take you to the next slide. Rajdeep ji, you have disabled my screen sharing.
I'm so sorry. I'm 1 second. So I think the permissions are there. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just take you through the regulations, how they are formed. It will be good to understand. I'm not, please don't be scared. I'm not going to take you through everything. Just that, so we have got on the, yeah. And Rajniti, I think you will have to tell me when to stop, because this is my subject and I can go and then go on.
I think that is your prerogative. That is...
No. I have a lot much to cover, so you can just tell me. So the debt instruments. So Pooja, I'll just take you through the rules and regulations, that what gets covered in debt instrument and what gets covered in non-debt instruments, and what is the prerogative of RBI and what is the prerogative of central government, and how the rules and regulations are bifurcated. Again, please understand, important for us to understand that regulations under FEMA are made by RBI and rules under FEMA are made by the central government. Okay. So these are the debt instrument, government bonds, corporate bonds, all there, all tranches of securitization structure, borrowing by Indian firms through loans. Okay, they have very loosely used this word firms. So they should have used a better word for here. Depository receipts. Don't ask me about depository receipts, ADR, GDR, because I have never in my life dealt in that. Only have been reading since the time of exam. We used to give the exams.
That is a very candid disclosure.
Yeah. So we saw what are the debt instruments, and these are the non-debt instruments, all in investment in equity in incorporated entities. Capital participation. So non-debt instrument basically is the equity into the company in any form. Non-debt majorly is equity. All instrument of investment as recognized in FDI policy, InvITs, REITs, and these are the depository receipts again. Important point here is that they have kept acquisition and sale or dealing in directly in immovable property. So that is non-debt instrument. If a foreign resident wants to acquire immovable property in India, it will need to follow the non-debt instrument rules 2019 to get the acquisition. So this is basics which we have already discussed. So I'll skip this. But in case you want to focus on any of these, let me know, we can discuss. So these are the power of RBI to frame regulation. These are the powers of RBI: debt instrument, export of goods and services, repatriation and surrender of foreign exchange, and nature of transactions.
So ma'am, very small question. So has there been any significant amendment changes with regards to FEMA and all these rules that you are showing right now? Any significant where maybe that has happened or which we are predicting may happen? More relaxations on FEMA or the resurrection of the economy?
Yeah. So there is a very important change that has happened, and so okay, let me go to that directly, because otherwise these changes. So
you started your webinar, ma'am, by saying that this is an extremely vast topic, so, which you are now getting a grasp of it.
Yeah, it is a very vast topic. Yeah, so this is what is the change. This is what is the change in COVID-19 times. Now, what was happening? I tell you what was happening, that because of this COVID-19, all the Indian company, in fact, globally also, all the Indian companies, all the global companies are selling cheap. Now, China is the only country which is sitting on huge amount of foreign exchange reserve. Its foreign exchange reserve is more than the GDP of India. So it's a huge foreign exchange reserves that the China is sitting on. Now, what happened is that the Central Bank of China acquired 1% share in SDFC. Now that triggered everything, that if the Central Bank of China acquired 1% shares of HDFC, because at that time the shares of HDFC were selling cheap. Now, since it happened, it triggered to the Indian government that because the Indian companies are selling cheap right now, it may so happen that the Chinese companies may use this situation for the acquisitions which are not healthy, so to avoid the opportunistic takeover and acquisition of Indian companies due to COVID-19, the press note 3 was issued. So this is what is the outcome of COVID-19 situation as far as FEMA is concerned. Now, what does it say? It says that so present position, this is the present position ki koi bhi the company from Bangladesh and Pakistan cannot invest in India, and it can invest in India only under the approval route. So this was the present situation. Now what has happened? What is the revised situation? They have blocked every company coming from the country which shares a land border with India. तो वहां पे उन्होंने चाइना से जो भी कंपनी आ रही है, वहां पे पहले जो अप्रूवल रूट में था, ऑटोमेटिक रूट में था, उसको उन्होंने अप्रूवल रूट में कर दिया. So this change came on April 22, 2020, that the foreign policy the foreign FDI policy of India was changed, that no non-resident in company entity can invest in India if it is an entity with which India shares land border, or where the beneficial owner of the investment into India is situated as a citizen of any such country can invest only under the approval rule. So Rajdeep, this is what is the change that has happened because of the COVID-19. पहले क्या था, पहले सिर्फ बांग्लादेश और पाकिस्तान ही restricted था, that if they want to invest in India, they can come only under the government route. However, अभी क्या हो गया, अभी they have restricted all the countries with which India shares the land border. उसमें चाइना आ गया, पाकिस्तान आ गया, बांग्लादेश आ गया, and this is done more importantly because China, for decreasing the opportunistic takeover and acquisition of Indian companies. So this is what is the
this
change?
is an interim measure.
This is an interim measure, but we don't know because if you see worldwide, the policies are made against China. You see US policies and mostly Italy, Spain. So mostly worldwide, the countries are securing their investments against China. So we think that this is an interim measure, but however, it is yet to be seen, because if you read it with the relief measure that talks about Atmanirbhar Bharat, so obviously they want to make India to be manufacturing hub. They want to reduce the reliance on China so that the supply chain, the people which of the companies of the supply chain is affected because China is not working or China is playing smart. In that case, it looks like a long measure. It doesn't look like an interim measure, but I mean, nothing can be said.
I think a little off topic, I feel that if I ask that this could also affect in a good way the foreign trade policy of India.
Definitely yes. Definitely yes. This read with our the relief measure of Atmanirbhar Bharat should affect in a positive way. That's for sure. I mean, the relief package that is there of 3 lakh crore of MSME loan, and then read with so many other measures, it should be good. But actually, it is not that easy. If you see, it comes with lot many other things. Now they have reduced. What they are saying कि China से company नहीं आ सकती. What if China incorporates a company in US and US से company India में आ जाए? और beneficial owner you cannot trace sometimes. So indirect investment हो सकता है. And now second thing also is that कि जो अभी interim investment हो रखे हैं, मान लो the Chinese investment is already there in India. For example, ZTE. A very huge company. Now they have such a huge investment from China in India. Now what if ZTE India wants to issue bonus share or right share to the Chinese company, parent company? So what happens to that? So it's good, but it depends on how it is implemented, and practically I mean, it will take time.
Because of the substantial amount of money that is at stake, I think, from the various international borders into our country. Correct.
Yeah, because of the substantial amount of money
Correct.
which comes from China. Investment, this Alibaba and all is from China only. So
right.
And they have invested in so many of startups. Alibaba is invested in so many of startups. So what happens to the startups ecosystem? So that everything has two-way effect. So
I think in essence what you're saying is that in one snapshot everything cannot come to an end. So it is a gradual process and a very intricate
gradual process.
Yeah, and a very intricate.
Yes,
one.
Yes. So yeah. So this is what we had.
Okay.
As in
perfect.
Yeah. I mean, we saw a lot of changes in terms of tax. We are seeing change. In addition to this is a press note, and this has been implemented through rules also. So NDI rules have been amended to take into effect this press note. So those rules have also been amended through the circular of 22nd of April 2020.
Perfect. So, ma'am, I think before we conclude, can you give us a little word on all the professionals who are practicing in this domain?
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of students are also our viewers and will be our viewers in the platforms that we will be putting this video on. So there'll be a lot of students, a lot of professionals, a wide variety of professionals who are our audience in our various social media. Can you give us a small word on the present situation and how to tide over, maybe on the professional front too?
Yeah, sure. So we have changed actually. So there are 3 steps we have to change. One is present, one is next, and one is future. The present most important thing is that we have to be prepared for the next. The present state is that we have to be prepared for next while looking into future. And future is digital. And digital. Our taxes, our implementation, our laws, everything is going digital. So we have to focus more on digital. And if it is heard by the consultants, then they have to take care of their companies, and in the way that they bring out the companies with the from COVID-19 situation. Well, there are few steps to be taken so that in the next phase, it is they come out as victorious. So regarding that, and regarding yes, sir.
So basically, we'll have to brace for ourselves to tide over the present, look forward for the next, and hopefully have a very great future. I mean, that is a
plan for the future. Yes,
that is an excellent statement made, and hopefully your words turn true. And of course, you've given us a very critical insight as to the entire arena of international transactions with regards, especially with regards FEMA and taxation on the international and domestic front. And you have very beautifully told us what to look forward to, what has already happened, what you can predict, what's going to happen on this front. Thank you so much, Sudhaji. It was a fantastic pleasure and an honor to be the host, to host you on our platform. Hopefully, you will grace the occasion of having to come us on some other topic on another webinar, the request of the audience, which I've been receiving for quite some time. And thank you, Sudhaji. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. It has been a fantastic evening. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajdeep. Thank you,
everybody. Thank you.